Hi, welcome to Brew. So this time I'm doing cold brew on a budget. I've got two different ways that I did this. All right, so I'm gonna set the grinder to a drip grind, and then gonna measure out a quarter of a cup of grounds. We're doing a 1:8 ratio for this. Pour that into the coffee filter. You can use a mason jar or a takeaway, depending on whatever you have available. Use a bread tie to go ahead and tie it up and secure that. Put it in your jar. Grab your 2 cups of filtered water and pour that in. Put the lid on, and that is our mason jar method done. Now on to the cold brew pitcher, which has a metal filter. I'm going to go ahead and set this to a coarse grind for the cold brew in the pitcher. Alright, once again we're doing a quarter of a cup of grinds to 2 cups of water. Alright, pour the water in. Like I said, I am using filtered water for this. And with that, we're good to go. Set it in the refrigerator for 24 hours. So, and since I'm doing a cold drink, I decided to do something a little bit different. So I put together some simple syrup to use to sweeten it, just to see if that makes any difference on how well it mixes. So yeah, let's go ahead and let's get this tried out and see how it does. That's actually not bad. Normally 24 hours, you use that to dilute a little bit, and it could definitely use just a little bit of diluting. But if you're all about a strong coffee, that's a pretty good way to go about it. I have to say, I think that the cold brew pitcher actually is just a little bit smoother. Not a whole lot, but just enough for you to notice. Let's go ahead and try putting a teaspoon of simple syrup in here and see if that helps any. Which simple syrup, if you don't know what that is, 2-to-1 ratio of sugar to water. Get the water boiling, dissolve the sugar in there as completely as you possibly can, and then let it cool, and then you've got a liquid sweetener. That sugar added to it, that's actually not bad. The sugar does help. Still think this one's a little bit smoother though, so let's try the creamer and see how that changes it. It's actually pretty decent. I would say adding something with a light flavor to that would be good. Maybe maybe just a little bit of hazelnut, coconut, something like that might help that just a little bit. But really, that's not a bad cold brew coffee as it is. Yeah, so this one, it makes a good enough coffee, but I think having this metal filter that this one uses it allows it to do a lot better brewing. Maybe if I would have tried just putting the grounds in the mason jar and then just filtering them out Whenever it was done, maybe it would have given me a little bit better brew. Maybe I'll try that sometime just to see. But as it is, really this makes a pretty decent one. It's obviously not quite as good as a pitcher made for cold brew. Part of that's probably also to do with the fact that this is a more traditional drip grind versus a coarser grind that you usually use with cold brew. But if all you have is from the store pre-ground coffee and a mason jar, you can still make pretty good cold brew. Maybe add just some flavored creamer into it, and it makes it pretty good. So I think that's going to be about it for this episode. I'm looking into and doing some research on some recipes for using coffee with cooking. So I'm going to be kind of playing around with some of that, trying to build some episodes around some of that, because I really want to start doing some cooking with coffee as well. And I already found some pretty good ideas I want to play around with before I do the actual episode. So yeah, be on the lookout for that. If you got any other suggestions for episodes, please leave it down in the comments. Let me know what you think of this. If you have a better method of cold brew on a budget that I need to try out and see how it does, then feel free to let me know. The usual: like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And hope everyone has a good rest of their day.